Good morning, Genesis.
Good morning.
Welcome. Let's sing our opening song together. Please stand.
I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of joy right now. I'm choosing joy today. I choose abundance today. I choose abundance today. I am walking the road of abundance right now. I choose abundance today. I choose love today. I choose love today. I am walking the road of love right now. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today.
Welcome to a new calendar year, 2026. I'm loving the energy so far of 2026. If you are familiar with numerology, we have just completed a cycle of 9 years and are beginning again, beginning fresh, new energy. This is a 1 year, 2026. Add them all up, makes a 1. And that's the energy of new beginnings. So let's make it good. Don't roll your eyes at me, Randy. My name is Karen Williams, and I'm a spiritual practitioner here at Genesis, and I am your host today. Our online host is Eric, so if you're watching on Facebook or if there's a YouTube, please say hello for everyone or to everyone in the comments. Kind of create your own community in Facebook. Let everybody know how you're doing. Say hi to us. We're going to continue this year with our mission and vision statements, so please read with me our mission. We are building a vibrant community, cultivating a garden of spiritual growth, honoring vulnerability, creating a safe place of comfort and peace where all are welcome and accepted. Our vision. Genesis is a bright beacon with an unshakable heart of love, accepting all. Genesis is a home for the soul where we each creatively express our spiritual brilliance. Okay. Let me see, we have some announcements. Not too many. We have name tags as usual, as always, in the back here if you want to make sure everybody knows who you are. Our latest and greatest, I think, offering is, or announcement, is that we're hosting a celebration party just for our Genesis family, and this is simply to honor and celebrate how truly amazing this community is. And to thank you each for the love, commitment, and generosity that makes it thrive. Join us Saturday, January 10, from 5 to 8 p.m. right here at Studio 620 for great food, live music, and meaningful time with friends. Please bring your family and relax, enjoy. Please RSVP at the welcome table or by emailing, info@genesiscsl.org. Starting next Sunday, January 11th, I am super excited about facilitating a monthly meditation and conversation opportunity for us. I've been wanting to do this for a long time and haven't felt like we've really had the time or space for it, but you know what? This is a new beginning, and I'm just going for it. I feel like in 2025, there's been a lot of things, I think, on our mind, on our heart, that we've wanted to talk about, but haven't really had maybe a safe space to talk about it within our community, and so I wanted to create a space to do that. So first we'll meditate and get in that sacred space, and then we can have an open dialogue about whatever it is that's on your heart at this time. That's from 12 to 1, kind of like our book study. We're also facilitating a vision board workshop that's titled Opening to Spirit's Vision for 2026. This is January 28 from 12:30 to 4 p.m. here at the Genesis Center for Spiritual Living. It's a spirit-led vision board workshop. We're exploring vision boards and listening inward for guidance around career, prosperity, relationships, and well-being. There will be an investment of $30. Supplies will be provided, but you're welcome to bring anything that you would like to use on your own and magazines or images to share. Laptops are welcome. If you have any questions or to register, please see Cynthia Zink, who is here at the welcome table today, and you can get her information there. We are beginning our Visioning as a Way of Life 6-week course on January 13, and that will extend to February 17 every Tuesday from 7 to 10 p.m. I think that early rate is still available. Our Love Visioning group, there's a lot of visioning going on right now, which is a great thing for Genesis, and I hope that we get to talk more about that as well. But our Love Visioning group, which is typically the first Thursday of the month, has been rescheduled since that was the first and everybody's recuperating. They've moved it to January 8th, which is this Thursday. An email and text reminder will go out, so join us for more visioning. You can never have too much. Do you shop at Fred Meyer? If so, support Genesis through your purchase. There are details at the welcome table. It is super simple. We are having our book study this Sunday after service. We have a new book that we're starting, Everyday Oracles, Decoding the Divine Messages That Are All Around Us by Anne Bollinger-McQuaid. Want to know more about any of our announcements here? We have flyers. Please check out the welcome table or our bulletin board for more information. You can also find all of this on the website for those of you who are not in person today. Excellent. So having first-time guests, I'm glad that you're here with us this morning. If it's your first time, we'd love to connect with you. We know everyone prefers a different method of communication, so you can fill out a connection card and drop it in the offering basket later in the service or scan the QR code on the card. These options are available on our website as well. This will open up a personal line of communication. We want to provide you important information to give you everything you need to learn about Genesis and what we do here. If you have any questions, please stop by the welcome table or reach out at info@genesiscsl.org. Now that we've welcomed our guest, let us welcome and greet one another. If you aren't comfortable with hugging, just stick out your hand and we'll shake it instead. Namaste hands are a great choice for contactless greeting. You may stay seated if you prefer not to mingle. We do have a vigil practitioner in the back, so she's going to remain seated and we'll let her hold us in support. So let's take a couple of minutes to greet each other. And those last-minute hugs. I'd like to thank those in service. We have a group of people who come in first thing in the morning to make sure this all gets set up, and that's generally the people who work in our welcome table, who work at our tech table, set up all this. That's Jim and Eric and Mike and Rose and Cynthia and Gideon, and they kind of, oh, fantastic, yay. They come in, you know what? You are welcome anytime to come in and help us set this up. It does take the entire community to make this run smoothly, and so thank you all for setting up this morning. There will, of course, will be an opportunity to help taking it all down, and we're really good at that, so I want to thank everybody in advance for how we do that together. Our morning greeter is Christy. On the projector video is Mike. Online host is Eric. Our sound tech is Jim. Offering collection is taken by Gideon. Our vigil practitioner is Reverend Rose. And our musician today is the beloved Becca Palm. Thanks to everyone. A special thanks to our Care Circle God in Form, who has provided snacks for fellowship today. And Gideon for going to make sure that all happened. All right, having gotten all of those details out of the way, we're going to move into the heart of our service. So we're moving from our mind, taking the journey down to the heart. We're going to do that by us having a centering song with Becca. Then we'll do a spiritual practice where I will strike the gong 3 times as we breathe together with each gong. I have a reading from Ernest Holmes in his Science of Mind 365, and then we will pray together, followed by another song, and then our message for the day. So please join me as we get centered and sing Breathe and Turn Within.
I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's presence. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I pray and turn within. I pray and turn within. I
This is Ernest Holmes' A Prayer for World Peace. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And it begins. I know there is but one mind, which is the mind of God, in which all people live and move and have their being. I know there is a divine pattern for humanity, and within this pattern there is infinite harmony and peace, cooperation, unity, and mutual helpfulness. I know that the mind of humankind, being one with the mind of God, shall discover the method, the way, and the means best fitted to permit the flow of divine love between individuals and nations. Thus, harmony, peace, cooperation, unity, and mutual helpfulness are experienced by all. I know there will be a free interchange of ideas, of cultures, of spiritual concepts, of ethics, of educational systems, and scientific discoveries, for all good belongs to all alike. I know that because Divine Mind has created us all, we are bound together in one infinite and perfect unity. I know that all people and all nations will remain individual but unified for the common purpose of promoting peace, happiness, harmony, and prosperity. I know that deep within each person, the divine pattern of perfect peace is already implanted. I now declare that in each person and in leaders of thought everywhere, this divine pattern moves into action and form to the end that all nations and all people will live together in peace, harmony, and prosperity forever. And so it is. And if you have this book, I would invite you to join me in reading that prayer every day this year. And so, a prayer for us. Being in alignment with this one mind, with this one creative principle from which all things flow. There is that point of creation that exists somewhere and everywhere. It is the point from which all creativity, all love, all joy, all beauty, all wisdom, all abundance flows. And it flows directly in, through, and as each of our lives. That each cell of our body is a miniature activity of that one source. Each cell right now, healthy, whole, complete, perfect. And I feel this and I embody this truth, knowing that every cell in my body resonates with that creative power. And it does so, moving throughout my body and out into my experience, bringing about peace and prosperity and wholeness and well-being, joy and beauty into my experience. I know this is the truth for each individual, for all beings, everywhere, everywhere. And so I take a moment to affirm that this activity is what motivates and inspires me to create a life of joy and beauty and wholeness. And I know that each of us creates, according to our own desires, that one life that is individualized as each of us, unique and necessary. I give thanks this morning for Genesis Center for Spiritual Living, and for those of us who are gathered here, and for those of us who are missing, and for those of us who have forgotten, And for those of us who are waiting yet to answer the call, that Genesis is a beacon of wholeness and healing. I give thanks for that. I give thanks for Reverend James, who has answered the call himself to be that guiding force that gathers us together and helps elevate us in our experience. For this and so much more, I am grateful, and I know that the continuation of this service is a continuation of this good, and I allow it to be so, and so it is. Please welcome Becca Palm.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers, can we hear what we're saying in a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness? We know that God is always here, and every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, God hears and then creates with. Our thoughts are prayers that Spirit resonates with in a higher consciousness, a state of mindfulness. We know that God is always here, and every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers that we could have some fun with. Our thoughts are prayers, let's play with what we're one with a white stone in our hands and a word on which to stand. We know one mind is always here, and every thought becomes a prayer.
Thank you, Becca. So welcome, Happy New Year. It's 2026, and it's a number one year, as I now know, our new beginning. So this year, our theme is going to be open at the top. This is the theme that lots of Centers for Spiritual Living will be following. And I love it because we are open at the top. We are open to more good than we can imagine, than we think is possible or likely. And today's service, we're going to have, actually all of January, we're going to be talking about how Indigenous beliefs map into Centers of Spiritual Living beliefs, how Ernest Holmes and Indigenous peoples had that in common. We have our new book for book group by Anne Bollinger-McQuaid, also Everyday Oracles, talks about how to connect with the universe in this way and how we connect with the universe. And Anne Bollinger-McQuaid is of Cherokee. She's not a card-carrying Cherokee, but her grandmother was Cherokee. And so she grew up with the belief that we are all part of the universe. We aren't really separate individuals, but we are all connected. At the end of the service, or partway through the service, we're going to have a white stone ceremony where we pick a word for the year. And instead of, I have the box of stones right here, and at some point we'll come and pick them up, because I wanted people to be able to pick your rock. These rocks are all, I mean, from a distance, they look all the same, but in fact, they are distinctive. Each rock is distinctive, and for some people, it makes a big difference. And so I want people to be able to have that selection. And there are little golf pencils, so you can write on your rock a word. So we'll do a meditation so that the word will come to you. There was some good news that I heard lately, and it really reflects how one person can change the whole world. In Montana, there are dogs, large dogs, like 90-pound dogs, Malamutes and species like that, which they use for protecting herd animals from any predators, which they have plenty of in Montana. Grizzly bears are the latest predator, except the grizzly bears don't go after herd animals. They've been going after farms and eating the apples from apple orchards and sort of scaring the farmers and their children to staying inside. And this can be hazardous to the grizzly bears because then people want to shoot them. But what this gentleman found out was that these Malamutes, these guard dogs, will guard people, and they'll guard the whole farm, and grizzly bears will run away from them. I mean, even though grizzly bear is 15 times the weight of this 90-pound dog, those dogs are sharp and determined, and the grizzly bear is ready to go someplace else to find their lunch. They don't want to get bit looking for a cheap apple orchard. And so now all the farmers in Montana, instead of lobbying to kill the grizzly bears, which are protected species, because that's what they did 100 years ago, was trying to kill them all they need to do is get a dog. And now there are more dogs with happy homes, more families with happy dogs, and the grizzly bears will go and find their food someplace where it's safe. So I like the story because it's a matter of somebody saw something and noticed something and made a difference, and it transformed the whole state, and it really made it safe for grizzly bears. I know in Washington State, grizzly bears are being reintroduced, and people in British Columbia, people are nervous about it. But now all they need to do is get a cute, very big dog. Now, one of my friends lives on a farm, and one day he saw a cougar, and his dog immediately bolted. That dog got fired and adopted to a family that does not need a protection dog. But so there are dogs that can do this for us. So our affirmation for today is, I am one with all creation, supported powerfully by Spirit. Let's say it together. I am one with all creation, supported powerfully with Spirit. I am one with all creation, supported powerfully by Spirit. We're going to talk today about ancestral wisdom, new thought, divine mind, and maple syrup. And our question is, how is the universe conspiring for the highest good, for our highest good right now? I mean, sometimes you see things that seems easy, and you're like, oh, of course the universe is conspiring for my highest good. And in other ways, you're like, what? How can that be anyone's highest good? But maybe it can be. Maybe we can be imaginative and figure out a way to use, even this for our highest good. And sometimes it just takes one person, and then it will catch on. So, Science of Mind, we're taught the entire universe conspires for our good. Indigenous wisdom supports and deepens this idea, honoring the interconnectedness of all. I'm going to talk about the maple sugar moon and discover how we got maple sugar via the communion of weather, squirrels, and people. Algonquin tribes believed in an animistic religion based on Manitou. Manitou is the Algonquin word for spirit, or Gitche Manitou is the union of all spirits, is great spirit, which, as we know in science of mind, this is the thing itself. This is our mind and divine mind. But the story is from Robin Wall Kimmerer, who is from the Potawatomi tribe. And Potawatomi tribe is part of the Algonquin family of tribes, which is, the Potawatomi started off in Wisconsin and Michigan, but there are other Algonquins, the Cree and the Ojibwe, who live in southern Ontario, and then there are also the Wampanoag, are also Algonquins, and they were the ones who had Thanksgiving with the Pilgrims, and the Pequots are the tribe from Connecticut, my home state. I don't know anything famous the Pequots did. People used to write about them who lived in Connecticut 400 years ago because they thought they were very fierce. And they admired the way they could live with nature. They share a common language and a common viewpoint about how the universe works. So the maple sugar moon happens in the late winter. It's generally in March. The full moon in March is going to be the maple sugar moon. And this is when it's warm enough during the day that the trees will unfreeze and the sap will flow in the trees, but cold enough at night that things will freeze. Long ago, the Potawatomi person or people noticed that squirrels would be chewing and scraping the upper branches of sugar maples and then licking the sap that would come. But what was more interesting is they'd come the next day and find crystallized rock candy. It was maple sugar on the tree, and then they would eat this candy, and they loved it. You know, squirrels use so much energy; they can use as much sugar as they want. They don't get diabetes or anything. I had one who was he was very good at drinking all the water from my hummingbird feeder. Well, hummingbirds are other beings who can use all the sugar water they can get. So scraping the bark, what the Potawatomis figured out is how to put, it's called a spile in, and they carve it from wood, and it's like a funnel that they would knock into the tree, and then the sap would drip from it into a bucket. And the bucket would fill up with the sap, and then at night, the top of the water would float to the top of the bucket, and the sap would go to the bottom, and it would freeze. And so then the Potawatomi would walk around and take out the frozen water and let it keep on dripping and dripping, and so it was concentrating itself. I have friends in Connecticut who do this, and the spiles they use are now metal, not carved out of wood. Connecticut doesn't always get that cold during the winter, but what they do when it doesn't is they just take the sugar water from the tree and they boil it, and they boil off the water, and then they get maple syrup. But the Potawatomi managed to do it in a more climate-friendly way by just taking advantage of the freezing of the ice. And you know, somebody noticed this for the first time. I mean, some squirrel started doing it, and then all the other squirrels learned how to do it, because this is not a natural behavior. Some smart squirrel noticed and then told the other squirrels somehow in squirrel language. Or maybe the other squirrels observed it doing that and thought, let's try. And then the Potawatomi started that, and then they started, you know, they told their friends, and it's traveled through Ontario and went to Vermont, you know, which is, according to some people, we Canadians think that the best maple syrup come from Canada, but Vermonters know that the best maple syrup comes from Vermont. The Potawatomi know that it comes from Wisconsin and Michigan. So one day we may have a maple syrup tasting contest and find out. But this is how we work with the universe. You know, in everyday oracles, we'll find that by being open and aware of what's going on in the universe, we can enrich our lives. We can make our lives more meaningful, more connected, and gather more purpose from it. We find that, you know, experiments find that when people experience awe and wonder by seeing something magnificent or noticing that we are a small part of something much bigger than we are, that this relaxes us, it enlivens us, it makes us healthier and happier. It's a wonderful state to get into, and I think this is the state I find myself in during meditation and prayers, is connected to the whole universe. Ernest Holmes says, nature has awaited our discovery of its laws. As we discover new laws, we use them. We must come to understand nature's laws, and then they will obey us. And he talks about how electricity existed back in the time of Moses, but nobody knew about it, and nobody had any chance of figuring out how to make it work until thousands of years later. And there are presumably other natural laws that, as we develop science and spirit, we will find we have new capabilities, and we can connect with them. And this, of course, is what we do with Science of Mind. When we notice that the thing itself, you know, Gitche Manitou, the creator of the universe, is part and parcel of us, is available to us, is connected to us, is we are one with all creation, supported powerfully by Spirit. So our experience of life is expanded when we're consciously aware of our connection with Spirit. And we find, as Ernest Holmes says, the mind which we discover within us is the mind that governs everything. This is the thing itself, and we should recognize its simplicity. We know when we have a strong intention, the entire universe conspires to make it happen through the power of the law. And as you know from prayers, your prayer will come true, usually not in the way you imagined it, usually better. So we are connected to the great web of life. And I know I've talked about the wood wide web, which is the phenomena of trees in the forest connecting with each other through their roots and mycelial networks. And so they can detect, they can transmit emotions and transmit information to each other. And if a tree is in trouble, they can send nutrition that way. So trees actually have, this is the tree version of food stamps. Who needs it? You get it. We have extra. Indra's net is what they call it in Hinduism, how everybody's connected together and everything in the universe is connected. And we can, so by moving, we make the whole web move, and we are connected to everyone within the web. So Ernest Holmes wrote Science of Mind in 1926 when he was 39 years old. And he had done some studying. I mean, it seems like it came out of nowhere, but in fact, when he was a teenager, he was enchanted by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And Emerson believed that the world is magnificent and we are a unique, radiant part of it, connected with God and connected with all creation. And so Emerson really inspired Ernest Holmes to want to be able to communicate and, you know, be a public speaker and make as big an impression on the world as Ralph Waldo Emerson had made on his life. And then he found himself, when he moved to California, he became a big Thomas Troward fan. And Troward wrote convincingly that the world is created by God and the divine intention forms everything in the world. And he said it in a way that really captured Ernest Holmes, and a bunch of people got Ernest to explain Thomas Troward to him, because Ernest is better at explaining things. Thomas Troward is good at knowing what the law is and knowing how the universe operates. And Holmes is good at making sure everybody knows how the universe operates. Yeah, he was a great translator. Yeah. And then the last person he was influenced by is Emma Curtis Hopkins. And Emma Curtis Hopkins studied with Mary Baker Eddy, the founder of Christian Science, who learned that we can all heal ourselves, that the power of God to heal ourselves rests within us, that illness is not a part of us. Illness is actually an illusion, and that by connecting with the Spirit of God within us, we can make ourselves healthy. And these three influences, Ernest Holmes went and did a translation in The Science of Mind. He says, look, it's right in you. It's closer than your next breath. You just need to look. The universe conspires for our good. And he encourages us to use the law more intentionally through thoughtfulness about what we're thinking and feeling. So when Ernest says, when we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. When we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. And we recognize that Spirit loves, trusts, and supports us. And that Spirit is everywhere present, and we unify with that Spirit as we know that Spirit is within us, and we are that. We are that love, trust, and support. We are trustworthy. We are loving and beloved. We are supporting and supported. And we realize that is our very nature. Our very nature is to be trustworthy, is to be supported, and to support others. And that the love transmits it all. And we're thankful for this. We knowing that this is our very nature. We release anything other than this sense. We release all fear, all doubt, all concern, knowing that the law will support us and that we live in the universe. We live in a universe that trusts us, that supports us, and that loves us. Let's say once more together, I am one with all creation, supported powerfully by Spirit. I am one with all creation, supported powerfully by Spirit. I am one with all creation, supported powerfully by Spirit. And now it's time for our white stone ceremony. So anyone who doesn't have a white stone, I encourage you to come and pick one up. This is so that you can have the right stone for you. Now you may have a word now. I encourage you to wait for your meditation because you'll find a different word will come up during the meditation. If one doesn't come up during the meditation, sometimes listening to people talk about what their word is will ignite your word. And generally it's a word, sometimes I've had 2 or sometimes a few words for my white stone. A word is simpler and easier if that's what comes to you, but however you do it, I have also had pictures come to me. So one year my word was an emoji. So the white stone ceremonies comes from Book of Revelations, chapter 2, verse 17. Let anyone who has an ear to listen to what the Spirit is saying. And what everybody has an ear to listen means you're not listening with your physical ears. You're listening with your heart. You're listening with your soul. You're listening with your spirit. To everyone who overcomes, I give some of the hidden manna, and I will give a white stone, and on the white stone is written a new name. So the hidden manna, the manna comes from the Exodus in the Bible, where for 40 years, the Israelis were living in the desert, and there was no food except that every day manna would fall from heaven, and they would eat that. And so the manna represents being supported by the universe, being supported by Spirit. Spirit gets you what you need. So we can rely on Spirit. And the white stone you get, you do the writing of the white stone, but Spirit will tell you what your word for the year is. So as you hold your white stone in your hand, know that you are starting with a clean state. They used white stones in ancient times for somebody who served times in prison or some kind of bondage. If you were a slave and you were freed, or when you left prison, they'd give you a white stone, and you could change your name. You'd write a word on that stone, and this would indicate that you were free. White metaphysically represents joy, victory, and purification. And so we learn an entirely new relationship of our true I am. We have let go of what no longer serves us, and we surrender and allow Spirit to speak to us in the past. So let's go to our hearts right now. Let's inhale into our hearts and exhale. And let's allow ourselves to feel appreciation. Appreciation for a loved one, a pet, this group, this teaching, the knowledge of the benefit and wonder of having our new word for the year. And we feel that appreciation expanding, filling our hearts, filling our bodies. And we lie back into that appreciation, into that love. And now we bring our awareness down through our feet, into the earth. We feel our roots going deeply into the earth until our synapses reach to the edge of manifest and unmanifest reality. We are deeply connected to the earth. And then we move our awareness back up to our gut, our belly button. And this is our spiritual womb. And we feel the power of creativity, creating the fire of creativity within us. And this is us. This is our nature. This is our connection to God. And then we move our awareness back to our hearts, where we let the appreciation, the love, the ease expand and fill our bodies once again. And this is our connection to Spirit. And then we move our awareness into our head space, where we find our head is strangely quiet. And we rest in that silence, knowing this is our connection to Spirit. And we can stay there, or we can move out through the top of our head and move into the vastness of the universe, knowing that this is our connection to Spirit. And as we stay in the stillness, we listen. We listen for our name, for our word. As we invite the activity of Spirit, the whole Spirit of God, into our hearts and minds, we see our word. We feel our word. Now we move our awareness back into our heart. And feel free. Now let's breathe. Let's inhale into this moment and exhale. And when you're ready, you can move your awareness into the room. If you had a word come, then feel free to write it down on your stone. If you didn't, know that within 24 hours, that word will come. And sometimes it comes when you talk to others about what their word is. So today we'll meditate on our word by finding our word, by opening ourselves to our word. We have freed ourselves to live more fully, conscious of the activity of the whole Spirit of God in every aspect of our lives. Anytime you look at your white stone or feel it, realize you have the gift of choice to live a more fulfilling life, to co-create with God. Your new name is a whisper from the soul. Along with our word comes the power and guidance to achieve all that we desire. This is our new name. It's our new consciousness. We see it, we decree it, we accept it. We are on the path to greater insights, deeper awareness of the presence of Spirit as us. As Ernest Holmes says, when we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. And let us say together a couple more times, I am one with all creation, supported powerfully by Spirit. I am one with all creation, supported powerfully by Spirit. And we recognize that Divine Spirit loves, trusts, and supports us, opening our minds and heart to love. And we unify with that belief, with that Spirit, with that love, trust, and support, knowing that there is no difference between us and that. And we realize that this is our very nature. We are trustworthy, we are loving, we are supporting and supported. And we are so grateful. We are so grateful for our participation in this beautiful universe and for the beautiful universe that allows us to participate. And we release and let go any concerns, any doubts, any fears, and anything other than the sure knowledge that the law supports us in love, trust, and understanding. And so it is. And now, I encourage you to find a prayer card, or if you're at home, go to the Genesis website to make a prayer request. And on the first side of it, there is my prayer demonstration. And when you write down what you demonstrated, that makes your prayers that much more powerful, because every inch of you then believes that it's true. And then on the other side is a prayer request, which can be for you, for anybody else, for the world.
Grateful, joyful, heart full of love. I am so grateful to be overflowing with what life's made of. This sweet spirit in me, a spirit that's breathing life, oh, living and loving through me. Thanks for this being, a spirit in me, blessing my day. I'm so grateful to be able to see this precious presence that's lighting my way through this sweet spirit in me. Power that's breathing life, oh, growing and learning through me. Thanks for this being, a living, loving spirit in me, blessing my way. I am so grateful to see this precious presence lighting Spirit within.
It's beautiful, truly. Okay. So we've done our prayer cards, and now we have our second envelope for our financial giving. Genesis is a community dedicated to love, inspiring harmony, and creating connection to empower spiritual growth. And we love that you're here to share that with us. So now is an invitation to participate in circulation, to connect with abundance and generosity. Your participation makes all this possible. We truly appreciate your support. So let's take a moment to craft our financial gift. And if you are on Facebook, please visit our website at genesiscsl.org. So now if you feel called, go ahead and put your prayer and your offering close to your heart as we say our offering blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am thankful. Gideon's going to come around and collect our offering and our prayer cards, and while we do that, we will sing, I give because I believe.
I give because I believe in love. I give because I believe in love. I give because I believe in love, and love is given to me. I give because I believe in joy. I give because I believe in joy. I give because I believe in joy, and joy is given to me. I give because I believe in peace. I give because I believe in peace. I give because I believe in peace, and peace is given to me. And peace is given to me. And peace is given to me.
So it's with deep gratitude that I recognize that we have initiated the law of circulation, that as we give, so shall we receive, pressed down, multiplied, and overflowing into our individual lives, into our collective lives, into the life, the very life and breath of Genesis itself. And so it is. Okay, well, thank you for joining us today. I do want to say that if you will accept my invitation to read, it's the very last day in the book, the 365, it's December 31st, that prayer for peace. If you don't have the book, I have posted that prayer on Genesis Family on Facebook. So you will find it there. Save it and read it every day. We need it. We need that prayer for peace. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's stand. And we'll sing our closing song together, We Rise.
Love holding love in my heart. Peace. I'm knowing peace in my mind. Joy. I'm feeling joy in my life. We are one and together we rise. Love. I'm holding love in my heart. Peace. I'm knowing peace in my mind. Joy. I'm feeling joy in my life. We are one and together we rise. Together we rise. Together we rise. Standing in beloved community. Together we rise. We rise. Through love, peace, and joy. Together we rise. Peace and joy. Together we rise. Through love, peace, and joy. Together we rise.
Thanks. Please stay for fellowship.